Oh shit. Okay. Alright, we're gonna get started. Welcome to the celebration. No! Ava says she doesn't hear me. Shit. Okay, now she can. This is silly. Alright. So, welcome to the Busted Sermon release show. My name is Lu. Sorry, I'm getting everything started. Okay, we're good. Okay, we're here celebrating a very dear friend and lovely of mine, Vishal, who today released Busted Sermon. It's a beautiful record, and under his project name, Airhead DC. And I love him very much, and I hope he's doing well all the way where he is. Thank you to Rhizome for hosting this. It's a wonderful place in DC. And thank you to Ava for booking. Thank you to Oof Records, and all those who have been involved in Oof to make this album come to the world and to make this show happen. Thank you, Vishal, for asking me to play this, and to be playing with you and Devin is kind of it. Really, I lost my shit when I found out, and I'm really, really grateful to be here. And also, quick shout out, thank you to Cash Langdon for making a really sweet poster that I got to share with everyone. So I also want to remind y'all, if you feel able to donate, Rhizome has a Venmo, a PayPal, and we have a With Friends link for this show. And I'm going to assume that Ava is throwing it in the chat right now. So if you're watching through Twitch, or of course you are, if you're watching, just if you feel capable, anything helps. It's really appreciated, and the work we do is necessary. So thank you if you're tuning in to watch me read right now. As I said, my name is Lu. I'm going to be reading some of my poetry work, and just to prime it a little bit. I'm an artist, and I do a lot of different things, but I've been writing a lot more lately and over the last year, and it's become a really important part of my practice. So I'm really grateful to get to share it. And I'm gonna get into that now because we're 4 minutes in. So let me just open my little space, and then hold on. This is my fireside chat, That was my concept for it. I was what's gonna be cute and comfy? So anyway, if you're at home, you better be at home, actually. I hope you're at home in a safely, in a safe little pod or whatever. I hope you're at home and you're cozy. And that you're ready to hear some poems. So I'm going to be reading off my phone. This first one is called Crunchy Time. My head is the loudest place in the world, but I have a theory of the bite. Fury, chemical corn chip, delicious, I am banana now. Pan-warmed pizza pie, hasty tap into some jasmine rice, bean to borrow, this textural odyssey, this brain warp at a bubble nest. I want more than this, more than fragile peace. Every day there is a waking up, a funerary feel. I take a midday walk, and I feel struck by my sudden presence in the world, when I feel I instead am a ghost, but a neighbor pushing her little cart meets my watering eyes, and I have to look back and remember I have a body. I wonder how I will live when I feel I am constantly in the wake of disastrous grief. Why I am always screaming. Why am I always screaming? I am always screaming because there is a demon within. It just needs to come out. No, that's silly. I went to church and shit, the Catholic ceremony. The spookiness of it all, I'm surprised it wasn't more fun. I mean, that cracker was made of Jesus. Stuffed 40 kids into the church basement to get smart about the Lord. David and Goliath, VeggieTales adventure. If the veggies from VeggieTales were veggies, the tomato would be a tomato. I'd be a parsnip. I am a slut for parsnips, I say to my empty apartment. But I'm acting moth, flying and beating against the impossible to pass air. Why, oh why? What pull does the moth feel to the light? Not scientifically, but what is its body experiencing as it moves through time? What do the thoughts sound like? It must be an unbelievable frequency. I think time moves faster, perhaps by a force incomprehensible, not speed, for the bugs. This brings me to my next act, next work. And I have to give a shout out to Ava because we've developed this concept together. It's about a place called Bugtown. So, I'm gonna get a little sip of water and just hydrate. Okay, this is called Musings on Bugtown. Well, first of all, it's really big. In Bugtown, they say, life is big and you can make it special. Like as big as the whole world, the bugs have no concept of borders. Crabville is nearby. The crabs live in the sand, breathing through bubbles, bubble nest, mud cub. It's fun to imagine the worlds that bug beings inhabit. Wonder what they are doing, what they think they are doing. Wonder beyond the hierarchy that consumes my everyday. The grasshopper sits next to the praying mantis. The cricket sits next to the flea on the bus to Bugtown. Taking my ant farm for a walk. Unleashed, free range, scales rocks. Told you Bugtown was big. Fine fescue full of ladybugs and spindly spider legs. Bluetooth worm, he has a tiny briefcase and a little headset, and he takes his meetings on the go, tunneling straight to the ancient. Be mindful that the bugs are mighty polite. Don't be surprised when you get a hat tip or a hot tip on the down low dirty bug spot, where the bugs know how to party. But bugs don't have Wi-Fi. You can't find them on Blu-ray. Information superhighway. Have you seen the traffic? The bugs tumbled over each other, passing information through brushes of antenna on ecto, crunchy skeleton. A mantis shrimp can go on vacation in Bugtown, blends in well enough to have a good time. Long-term residency is only established when ants keep each other afloat, becoming a raft of bodies when the flood moves in. What might we, citizens, learn from this? Disaster is only such at the hands of our neglectful bureaucracy, hell-bent on death. In Bugtown, there's a mayor, but it's not like a cult of personality around him, no fame, just a special top hat. Everyone is mayor for a day in Bugtown. In fact, everyone can wear a top hat whenever they wish. Tip-top hat to your fellow bug. It might be said that the bugs band together. I cannot speculate much further on the epistemological understandings and the institutions or lack thereof of the bugs, the political and economic systems, the psychosocial fabric of Bugtown, mostly because it's just a different paradigm altogether. The best vision I can give is the bugs sing their song as they ride through the town. There's 10 quintillion of us, but together we make one. Cool. All right, so the next one, I'm an educator primarily, and the next one is about a student of mine. So this one is called There's Room in the Walls Outside the Dream. If that was you, then I could take you home and keep you and feed you. Kaylee is making a collage about a dream. She frees a bird from a page of an old National Geographic. Careful with the scissors. A long-tailed tit, so painfully pleasant looking. I like to ask my students, can you tell me what's going on here? So I move to ask the question, but I'm tripped up on this cute bird pic. So I giggle, saying, How is he so cute? I wish I was him. It's weird, but I've become a bird somewhere beyond the dream, in the desert of strange and surreal where she would keep me in her mischief imaginary. She's laughing. I'm wondering if it's altogether unbearable to live in a little wire cage or in paper dreams. At least I'd be well fed. I'm laughing too. That one. Okay. Just jumping in. Don't forget to donate if you can. I hope you're feeling good. The next ones are a different turn. This one I wrote earlier in the summertime. It's called A Bait. The aberrations of the times become too much to bear. Fevers of manta rays break clusters of coral, dying. When you lay in bed at night, can you count the sirens to fall asleep? Abominable conditions, abominable men making abominable decisions. Sorry faces remind us that we still are anointed with the joy of state participation. Burn up the ballots, burn up that house, haunted and shrill. Young fire, unleash it, return to the dark caves of dance where you remember you are free, where you remember that, though they may harm you, you know what it is to live. Think of the porch you'll be sitting on, decades from now. You'll be there, I promise, and the police will be a long-forgotten gang of thieves, and the presidency will be a cursed antique, and we'll have alchemized, calcified our doubts. An oyster builds its shell by sequestering calcium carbonate from the water column. Think of you on the porch, drinking in the whispers of dandelion seeds on the poisoned wind, knowing they are destined to settle in far-off poisoned soils and yet still persist through their abominable conditions. Look off that porch into an ocean of time which calls our names in pull with the tide. All right. So, let's see. I'm doing good on time. I think I have 2 more. So, this one is called A Little Spell. I wrote this after an old friend passed, and I wrote it with him in mind. So, yeah. A little spell. I wonder how the turtle finds himself attached to his shell. What does the turtle feel at the juncture between skin and exoskeleton, soft-bodied into hard casing? Imagine wrapping yourself forever in a tiny home that travels with you on the current. Watching the turtle waddle, the duck hobble. I love the spindly legs, carrying around a round little body. Shake your tail feather and bob into the pond. Put your thoughts in neat little rows by the water's edge. They might be picked up by a ripple lick. I go deeper and I try to feel the slippage between my bones. There's plastic in the pond, outliving the ducks. Then suddenly I'm wondering what it felt like. So sick to my stomach, in the belly of it all. I am enraged. I did not know death and loss could do this to me. Find the junctures in me, pivotal moments I tried to smooth out between my softness and thorny bits. I had put away the tragedy of accidental death, sunk the memory so I could not dwell on the only time my father has cried before me. I think to myself, do I need to pray for him? Praying is done like this, I hope. I'm in deep at the kitchen sink, dish soap foam running up my arms, water climbing, remembering how when my body hit the water at Reese, it felt the horror of the loss. If I can admit to myself that I am feeling, I have a guide. I won't be left stranded, but he was, and that's it. I am terrified of the suggested darkness. So I have this poem with a hum, expulsions pulsing with light, and I can't locate the feeling of so many months past. As I go within, I find the cave's hollows can stretch for miles, yawning, bleary, clearing in the wood. I was alone out there, and then with the oak's moss making shadows out of spirits, alone. Held alone as the world set afire, then welcomed back to hell. Rotten fruit in my fridge. The U.S. food supply chain is breaking, they say. And, well, it's been breaking for hundreds of years beyond this exhausting news cycle. Empire continues failing forward into a pool of melting plastic. That's what happens when you pull death out of the earth. Cherry juice on my pillow now. I remember when the beginning felt endless. A future torn, askew, time gaping open. What I would have given for another's touch in April. My neck ached with a want for a hand on my throat. Now here in the late twilight of a hotter season, just touched the last night, the fog has set in. Grief for him, grief over him, grit in the jaw for her. All this stirs in me is a want to hold everyone close. A want is a thing between the shell and softness. It's the point of flexion as your arms bend to encase another in the last embrace until the next time you touch. Waiting patiently as I have been, patient as it comes. If I look solely for pleasure in others, I miss the potency, miss the potential of patience to unfurl into depth. But it's no wonder to wish after it, after pleasure. I mean, if it's just that good, Pat me until I fall asleep and forget into dreaming. The other night I met B in a dream. He was seated, speaking with someone else who was there, sharing a greasy bag of fries. I asked if he was getting well fed. There was levity, laughter. We hugged, giggling. 2 golden retrievers had seats at the table, and they started howling, awoo, in unison. The round table held an atmosphere of love and sound, full of awoo, with a want to hold. And alone out there I saw a soft slippage into the sea, as has been customary since those who crawled out of their delicate world of sea to make the land a home is happening here where you stand, all around the island's untraceable edge at once. Think of it as though the ghosts leave kind little trails of water reaching back out to meet its wholeness, and muttering crabs whose worlds span the air and underground arise to feed in ghosts' wake. What does the water carving fine trails in the sand remember? All right. I'm getting up to the last bit of my time. I'm gonna I think I can fit this one in. I'm gonna read one more. And then I will pass it off to the rest of the show. Thank you so much again. This last one is Ecstasy on the Cyclical Sea. I have been mostly alone because when I am alone, I am attuned to the listening, to what we think of as not alive, being oh so much alive. A space can speak. Histories have language to tell us where to go. If I do not tune my focus, what might I miss? In Wu Seng's voice, Melbag speaks in the silver platter, shaping the right statement, chanting to incarnate another in an impossible translation, the room speaking through reflections of light on a lens. The shimmering curtain casts a wise, knowing glance. The eye can listen as the ear sits back to hear an ancestor whispering just over the shoulder. I am searching for something, listening for this, when I lay in the waves of a shallow sea, the gentle slope of the continent. There's nothing more gentle. Though laid across a lap still, nothing compares to the pleasure of a cyclical sea. And while some hands moving over and within you, your own waves coursing, might pull out a good moan, there's a fullness to the hold of a rolling shore. Waves expanding over the dancing surface of sand, who, just as the water, has no concept of a boundary. Shifting particulate front, a little rise, a moving coast, clam tongues waving in an impossible coordination, waves with no vestige of beginning and no concept of an end. James Hutton reading rocks, no vestige of a beginning, no concept of an end. And thinking on deep time, cement speaking, and Wu Sang reading queer phenomenology. Time is borrowed and it changes everything. Searching, searching in the sea. For ancestors, for home, but home is other people. I want to be rigorous and serious and so still. I want to focus in on the little speck of light, moth, but the mistake is thinking that the light is far off and small, only that there is so much magic in that which you are bathed in. What a silly way to say swimming in sap, stuckness, yawn, but ecstasy, but uncanny. Arthur Russell shimmer, see you in a minute, but beyond. I beg of the world that it never is what it is. There is more, more. I'm moaning more and it's still never enough. Okay. That was all from me. Once again, please give what you can. Enjoy the rest of the show. We have Devin Welsh up next. And after that, the boy, the wonder, the shawl as Airhead DC. Thank you so much.